going on, guys? Purple Havarti here, YouTube's first influencer ever. Period. I am the first. I'm the one, man. I am gonna start the series. The series is gonna be called Songs That Made Me Love the Artist. I love a lot of artists, and I felt like it's only right to start with arguably the greatest of all time. Everybody calls them the best of all time. Some people could argue, somebody else is better, but for the majority of it all, the Beatles are top tier. So I'm starting off with the Beatles, man. Yeah, and I'm getting a little crazy, man. I'm getting a little 60s. I'm feeling a little hippie. I'm feeling myself, man. But yeah, so I'm starting with the Beatles, and it's kind of just gonna be like my story of how I got into this band. Yeah, I don't know if you heard of them. They're pretty underground. They're not that major. When I first heard about the Beatles, man, first heard about them back in high school, I believe. I was telling somebody who really listened to music, my friend Jeff. He was super into rock music. I was more into dancing music. I was more into Michael Jackson. I was a huge Jackson fan. And I was telling him, I love Michael Jackson. He's the GOAT, king of pop. Nobody could do music better. I was a bit snobbish. I was a bit young and crazy. But yeah, he told me check out the Beatles. And I was like, okay, I'll check them out. I'll see what they have in store. And then I think I listened to a lot of their, biggest hits first, like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Come Together was one because I think Michael Jackson did a cover of it. Yeah, I was just listening to a variety of their like late 60s sort of things, and I wasn't really liking it because at the time I just liked Michael Jackson's music. So it was a big shift in my sort of musical journey. It was super shifty. So then I was just like, should I keep giving them a chance? I'm not liking any of this stuff, to be honest, man. I became kind of a Beatle hater because everybody would tell me how great they were, but I was like, they're not that great. I was just one-minded on, dance music being possibly the best thing ever, or like even 80s synth or Quincy Jones music. But anyways, I then decided to listen to them chronologically. Maybe some of their earlier work will pull me in, just like it pulled pretty much all of the UK and all of America in. Pretty much the whole world. The whole world was obsessed with this band. And so then I decided to play their first hit. And the Beatles' first hit was Love Me Do. And man, I tell you, I thought that song was garbage, man. I did not like that song at all. I hated the harmonica. I didn't like it at all, man. And it's funny because my girlfriend sings that song. I feel like it's the only Beatles song that she knows. Opinions have changed about that song. I don't entirely hate it, but yeah, that song was not it. And I was kind of sad at the time. I was just like, oh man, this is gonna be a rough ride to figure out if I even enjoy this band. And then I listened to maybe Twist and Shout. I listened to next. And Twist and Shout I actually enjoyed. It's pretty good. And if you ask me today, I really like Twist and Shout a lot. It is absolutely awesome. It's got probably the best John Lennon voice performance I've ever heard. Super punky, super attitude, super sonic, man. Super everything, man. I like that song a lot. But back then I don't think I was ready for such a guitar driven, and just his voice was so in your face. It was so different from the smoothness that I had listened to before. And then I decided to check out one last song, I believe, and that song was the song that made me love the band, love the artist, man. It was She Loves You. Yeah, She Loves You did it. I don't know what it was, how it was, but I believe it was their first UK or English number one. I'm not sure. My Beatle history is really rough, but I just remember I heard it and I was just like, I absolutely love this song, man. I couldn't get enough. It was so good, and the lyrics are so clever. It's not even like a direct kind of love song. It's more of like a message. I think that's what attracted me to it too. Lyrically, it was really different. It was really nice change up from just telling somebody you love them to being the middleman. And mainly, maybe it was because in high school I was not like getting any girls or anything, but it could have been that. Like, I've been in that situation where I had to tell, my friends that, hey, this girl might actually really be into you. Not love necessarily, but, the Beatles are great at, writing songs about love or even songs that say love. It's pretty crazy, but it's still pretty dang good. I mean, I wish it could have been like a major song like Yesterday or Hello Goodbye or I Am the Walrus or even Lucy in the Sky, like I mentioned before, but it really wasn't. It was She Loves You. I think it was because I saw him perform it live on YouTube and I saw the crowd reaction and I was like, oh, this makes sense. Yeah, man, I mean, I haven't heard that song in a while, so I've got it pulled up right here. Let's listen to it. Alright, right off the bat, those drums are nice, man. Ringo, legend, man. Really good drums. I mean, just to jump into it, man, that's really good. Oh, and another thing about this song, man, it starts with the hook. Who starts a song with the hook? I mean, now I know, definitely. There's a lot of artists that start songs with hooks. But I think at that time, I was just so naive in music and so new to it all that I was just like, who does that? I never heard anybody start off a song with a hook, man. I was super just naive in music. I think that's what captures you, when you listen to She Loves You. It's like, right off the bat, you're getting the hook. You're getting the main entree. It's like when somebody orders, a hamburger meal and they eat the hamburger first before even touching the fries. It's very different. I don't really do that. I like to munch on some appetizers, a little fry here, a little nacho, a little artichoke spinach dip before I get into a steak. But man, the Beatles just said, no, you're getting the steak first, then you might get the artichoke dip. It's really good. I mean, a fantastic start already to this song. I mean, dude, just that bass too, Paul McCartney, man. Boom, boom, boom. It's bouncy. It's rock and roll, man. It is rock and roll. Yeah, I don't think I have to play the whole dang song after this because I can remember. It's just really good, and it's definitely the one that made me love the band. I think it made me appreciate the harmony of Paul and George and John. Very harmonic sort of vocals that they're presenting. Yeah, man, it is a good song. I love when they do the Little Richard, the woo, and the hair flip, man. It's the most gangster thing I've ever seen the Beatles do. And it captivated everybody. I was at all with it, just how well they performed and put together this song. I was surprised that it wasn't the big song that crossed over here in the States. I know it was I Want to Hold Your Hand, which to this day, man, I still don't like that song, man. It's not my favorite. It's not even close to being my favorite song. It's a little corny. It's I Want to Hold Your Hand, it's, I don't know, man. It's like, I compare that song a lot to, Baby by Justin Bieber or like boy band stuff, like One Direction. Like the Beatles were definitely the first boy band, but I said that once to one of my friends. He was a huge Beatles fan, and I just told him, I was like, man, they're like the first boy band. He's like, no, they played their own instruments, they blah, blah, blah. But then I'd tell him, well, they're boys, right? And he'd be like, yeah, and they're in a band. I'd be like, yeah. But I mean, to me, that song is like the ultimate like boy band sounding song. It's I Want to Hold Your Hand. But She Loves You is actually like a freaking rock song, man. They rocked it out. They came with some aggression. They came with the hook first. They came with beautiful harmonies. Ringo's drumming hard on there. John is strumming. Paul is singing. It's ridiculous. I'm just naming the obvious, of course. But yeah, this was the song that did it for me, man. This was the one that got me, hyped about Beatles. It gave me confidence in myself when I was in high school, which was hard to come by. I mean, still to this day, I mean, look at my hair. It's pretty much thanks to the Beatles, man. This hairstyle comes with many faces throughout the whole era. I remember Zac Efron hair, Justin Bieber hair, even like some of the bands in the 80s that would come after, would have this kind of haircut here. But I always, still to this day, I tell people, this is because of the Beatles, man. I love it. I love the mop hair. Fashion was just really good. I mean, it's weird to me to think that people thought they had wigs, especially for what was to come, which was a bunch of guys with longer hair, and the music would become a lot harder. But now I'm just getting off a topic. I mean, anyways, the Beatles, yeah, She Loves You, songs that made me love the artist. And that's the one, man. That was it. Now you got Apple that made a great documentary about him, and I still haven't finished that. I mean, to this day, but I remember at one point you couldn't catch me without listening or watching the Beatles. They were a huge influence on a lot of people, not just myself. And like I said, man, it's Purple Havarti, YouTube's first influencer, letting you know, go check out the Beatles, man. Super underground. Nobody's talked about them. Pitchfork, NME, Rolling Stones, no articles on them, man. Go check them out. They're the real deal. She loves you.